Hi everyone, thank you so much for liking my videos and subscribing to my channel. So I'm here with a new concept of Terraform that is called Terraform Variable. So what is a Terraform Variable? I'll just explain you in this video, and after that you will be master in this Terraform Variable. So you can use variable anywhere in your configuration file. So basically Terraform Variable is used to replace the repetitive static values. What is a static value? A static value is a fixed value which you assign to your resources. So let's say you want to create a resource group. In the resource group, you want the location of that resource group to be East US. So you give the location value as East US. But if you want to create one more resource group and you want to give the same location East US, then again you have to add that location as East US. So let's say again you want to create one more resource group and that location should also be East US. Again you add a variable. Again you add a resource block as a resource group and again you have to add the location as East US. Every time you are adding the same value again and again. So basically what I'm saying here, like you are going to create three resource group. The first resource group is RG1, the second resource group RG, and the third resource group is RG3. And all these three resource group should have the same location, that is East US. So every time whenever you create this resource groups, you have to give this value as location equal to East US, right? So rather than doing this again and again, why can't we create a variable as a location and the value of that variable we can give it as East US. What we can do, we can create a variable as we'll create a variable is location, and the value of that location we want it to be East US. In this case, we'll just create a variable and that variable value is East US, and the name of that variable is location. So now we don't have to repeat ourselves again and again as East US. What we can do, whenever you have to pass the value of location, you just use this variable as location. The location value is East US, so everywhere it will be replaced. It will be, the location will be as East US. I'll just show you this in our lab as well. So hope you understood what is a variable. So basically variable is used to replace your static repetitive values. So here what is the static value? Location, and we are repeating it everywhere. So rather than repeating it, we can create a variable as location and we can use that. So here you see I have just given the same example here. I have a source and this source is a location variable, and whenever I want to create any resource group, I'll use this same source, same location variable as var.source, var.location. Our source is location, and everywhere we can use the same thing, right? So in case of variable, we need not have to touch the values in each block. You don't have to go and change the values in each block. Directly you just change the location value, the source value, and it will be updated everywhere. What I mean to say, let's say I want to change the location of resource group from East US to East US 2. From East US to West US or East US 2. So what I can do, you know, uh, I can just replace this value. I will just delete this one, East US, and I'll just add the new location, East US 2. So what will happen? All the resource group location will be changed to East US 2. So I need not have to go and manually update the location everywhere. I'll just remove this East US and I'll just update the new location as East US 2. So actually what will happen, all the locations wherever the location was used, everywhere it will be updated as East US 2 location. So all these three resource group will be moved to. So this is the very big benefit of using the variables. You need not have to update all the source configurations files. just you update your variable, it will be updated everywhere wherever this variable is used. So hope you understood what is a variable. Now coming to the other thing, like in Terraform, first we need to declare the variable before using it. I mean, let's say I want to use location variable. So first what you need to do, you need to declare the variable. So what is a declaration? Actually, you have to create that variable before you use it. So we will create a variable as location, and the location value, variable value, you have to also give, like what value you want to give. So I want to give the location value as east US. I'll just create a variable as variable. So how we create a variable in Terraform is like, you have to create a, like you create a resource block, right? With the resource in variable, you have to create a variable as variable and double quotes the name of the variable. I say my name of variable is location. Okay, close the bracket, open the curly braces and close the curly braces. So this is your variable. You defined this variable. So the same thing we'll do it in the Visual Studio Code when I'll do the labs. So here we have declared the location variable now. And when we need to use this location, I mean, when we need to use this variable location anywhere, then we have to call this variable. So how we can call this variable? So in Terraform, we use var for calling any variable. So let's say now I want to use this variable, which just now I created, variable location I created, right? I want to use this. So here, let's say my resource block has a value called location. And now instead of giving east US, I can use var.location. Actually, it will call this var.location is this variable, right? And here I have to give the value of this. Right now I have not given any value. So what I will do, I'll just give a default value of this location variable as east US as of now. I'll also show you how to define the value of the variables. But right now, let's say I'm just giving the value as east US. So what's happening here? Now we have a variable. We are declared it, and now we are using it, and I mean we are calling it using the var function. I mean var dot variable name. So this is how we can call this variable using the var dot that variable name. It will call that variable. So var.location here is referring to East US because we have already declared it before using it. So whenever you want to use the variable, first you have to declare it and then you have to use it. If you don't declare, you use it, you will get an error like this variable is not defined. This variable is not declared. Okay. So now we'll jump on to the labs, and in this lab I will create three resource group in a single location that will be our East US, which I explained you in the first slide, and that will be our source. I mean that is our source location, and later on we'll just change the variable location from East US to any other location, maybe West US or East US 2 or Central US, and we'll see what happens. So let's jump into the lab and I'll just show you how to do it. Okay. So as I have already mentioned in my videos, I will never do the editing of my videos. So we are just going to create everything from scratch so that you can understand it. So now what I have is just I have a provider folder in provider file. I don't have anything else. So first what I will create, I'll just create a main.tf, or you can name it as resources.tf or your rg.tf, whatever you like. You can give the name to this main file. So first what we need to do, first we need to create a resource group. So to create a resource group, what is the uh, resource we need? Azure RM underscore resource group, and then the local name. So I'll give RG1. And for creating a resource group, what is the bare minimum configuration you need? Even from portal, you need the name of the resource group. So let's say my resource group name is TFRG1. And the second thing you need to give to create a RG is the location. Let's say I want to create it in the location US. So this is the bare minimum. configuration you have to give to create any resource group from anywhere, even from Portal, from CLI, from PowerShell or Bicep, any configuration medium you choose, you have to give these things, right? Now I have this resource group code ready with me. I'll try to just see plan like what it creates. So here it shows Azure RM or are not expected here. Block type Azure RM underscore resource. Sorry, it was a typo. Azure RM. Sorry, I just forget to add the resource block itself. Now it is fine. So we are going to create a resource, right? So we have to use the resource block. So now when you do the Terraform plan, so this is the resource group we are going to create. So this is a resource basically. Resource group is a resource in Terraform, right? We have to use this. So basically it will plan will show you, okay, what is going to be happen. I mean, what is going to be added to the Terraform. Actually, it will show you it is going to add one resource group. The name of that resource group will be TFRG1. The location is East US. This is what we are going right now. I mean, we are doing right now, right? So instead of using this location as a static value, I can variabilize it. So what I need to do was to use any variable, we have to declare that variable. So what I will do, I'll just create a variable as location. And if you don't give any value to this variable while running, while runtime, it will ask you the value. Okay, I'll just show you how it will work. Now we have declared the variable. Now we have to use this variable. So how to use this variable? To call any variable, we use the var and dot the variable name. What is the variable name? Location. Give this variable name. Now if for Terraform plan, see, it is asking you what is the location of, I mean, what is the value of this variable, because we have not given any value to this variable. It is completely blank. So it is asking you enter a value for this variable. So I'll just say East US. So this is how you give the values in runtime. Runtime we are passing a value for a variable. Now the plan source, I mean it will show you like okay, it is going to add a resource group. The name of that resource group is TFRG1 and the location is East US. This time we have not used static value. We have variabilized it. Can you see it? Now I'll just give a default value to it as US. So here we have a default value for location. If you don't pass any value, it will take this value. See, now if I do the plan, clear the screen. Now if I do the Terraform plan, it will show you it is going to add one resource group and the resource group location automatically it will take from the variable because we have defined default value, that is East US. In earlier run you saw we have not given any value, so while runtime it was asking the value of the variable which you have defined, which was blank. Now you see it is picking up automatically. Now our next target is get three resource groups, not one, and all the resource groups will have the same location, right? East US location. So we are not going to do anything to these locations because already it is as a variable. So here we'll just change the local name of that resource RG1, RG2, RG3 and the name of the resource group Terraform RG1, Terraform RG3. And for location, we are not using static value. Instead, we are using the variable, that is location variable. And all these three resources have same variable, that is var.location. Now the Terraform plan, it will show you it is going to add three resource groups and all the resource group will have same location because we are using the same variable for all the locations. So it will take a moment. Yeah, you see three to add. Terraform RG1, Terraform RG and Terraform RG3. Location is East U for all these resource group. If I do apply, also you auto approve flag, or else it will ask you to approve it, reject it. So actually it will create three resource group now. Hope it is clear to you now what is a variable, how to use it. Now next question. What if I want to create these three resource groups in different locations? I don't want to create all these in same locations. Or what if I want to variabilize my name also? No problem. You can do it. How you can do it? Create one more variable. One more variable as rg name. Okay? Or rg1 name. And the first rg name is frg1. Second variable and third variable. Second variable is rg2 name. Third variable is rg3 name. And first variable value is tfrg1. Second value will be tfrg2. Third value is tfrg3. So basically now we have three variables: tfrg1, tfrg2, tfrg3. Now first let me show you if these resources has been created or not. We'll go to resource group, see tfrg1, tfrg2, tfrg3. Three resource groups has been added and the location of all the three resource groups is choose, right? Because we have used the same variable as location and location was equal to east US. Now we are going to create three resource groups and all the three resource groups we are going to variabilize this static value as well. Name is a static value, right? So we are going to replace this as well with variable. Before doing that, let me destroy it and recreate it for using the variable approach. So these three resource groups will be destroyed and we'll create new resource groups. So this time what we will do, or maybe I'll add var rg. Give var rg1, var rg, var rg. Give you the more clarity because earlier we have already created tfrg1 too. So we will be confused. So here you see we are destroying tfrg1, tfrg2, tfrg3, and now we are going to create three resource group and all the resource group name we are going to variabilize. So now instead of name hard coding, I am just going to use var dot. Now you have four variables. One is location variable, another one is the rg1 name, rg name, rg3 name. What is the value of this? So rg3 name value is tfrg3. But for first resource group, I'll just use tfrg1. You can use anyone. tfrg2 also you can use, tfrg3 also you can use. For second variable, I mean second resource group, the name I'm going to give is tfrg2 name. For third one, then go give it as var dot tfrg3 name. So now everything is variabilized here in this configuration file. You see everything is variabilized, right? You have three resource groups. The name of the resource groups we are picking up from variable. The location also we are taking up from the variable. We have a variable name location here and the value of this variable is US. We have a variable as rg name, rg1 name, rg2 name, rg3 name. The values is ef var rg1, ef variable rg, ef var rg. These are the values for these resource groups. Now we have deleted the old resources. We'll just verify it on the portal till it is showing, but it will go away in some time. Okay. And now we are going to apply this configurations. Basically, we are going to create three resource groups using variable approach. So here you see now we don't have anything on this resource group. We are just going to apply it now. So what will happen now? Actually, it will create the three resource groups with the name. First name will be var.rg1 name. rg1 name is equal to ef rg1. Second resource group is var.rg name. Second resource group name will be tf var rg. Third resource group name is var.rg3 name. The third name is tfrg3, tfrrg3. You see here name tfrrg1, tfrrg, tfrrg3. So you see how we have variabilized it. So now if you want to, you know, remove your static codes, remove your hard coded things, you can use variables. So in Terraform, always it is a best practice not to hard code anything in your configuration file. Always use variable, expose those variables to the people who wanted to use it, and they will give the value and they will create the resources. So you don't have to hard code anything your configuration file. Now you see we have created three resource groups, and these resource group locations, everything we have used the variables. So hope variable is clear to you now. You understood how to use the variables. Now if you want to replace any values, let's say today a requirement come up, like no, we have to delete these resource groups, we have to recreate it into east us 2. So if you have hard coded it, you have to go everywhere and you have to change the location wherever it is east us. Now we have not hard coded it anywhere, we have used the variables. So we don't have to change here, here and here. We'll just change this variable east us. From east us we'll change this to east us 2. So what will happen? It will update the configuration and it will destroy the resource group existing one, and it will recreate it in the east-us2. Why it is destroying it? Because from portal also you don't have option to change the resource group location. If you want to change the resource group location, then you have only one option. You have to delete it and recreate it in the different location. But this is just an example of updating the variable, because resource group is a very easy resource, smaller resource, simpler resource. I'm using this as example, like how to update the variable. But this variable update can take place in many examples. I mean many scenarios you will use it. I mean you have to replace the variable, I mean update the variable, and then actually it will update the resources. So here you see what is happening from east to west. The location is being updated to east west 2. So hope you understood how to you know uh, update your variables, and here it is very beneficial. You see what happens, just have to update one value and wherever it is used everywhere it will be updated. So it got updated at three places. Actually it removes the complexity, and it makes the code more simpler and more easier to use. You don't have to touch your configuration file again and again. You can do whatever you want from your variable file itself. So here what we did, we added the variable in the same main.tf file. But again, this is not the best practice. Keep your variables and the resource block in the same main.tf file. For that, what we actually do, we create one more file that is called var.tf or variables.tf. Mostly we create it as variables.tf. So we have a main.tf which have all the resource blocks. We have one more file that is called variables.tf. So this variables.tf will have all the variables created here. So whatever we created in this main.tf, we'll just copy it or cut it, and we'll just move it to our variables.tf to just look things simpler and easier, and not to mess everything. We do it actually. So we'll just cut it from here, paste it here. So now you have one file that is variables.tf, you have main.tf. Main.tf has all the resource block, variables.tf has all the variables. So you need not have to do anything extra. You don't have to provide this variable value or anything in your configuration. You just have to call the variables. automatically these variables will be picked from these folders. If var.location is available in this folder, automatically it will be picked up. You don't have to give any file references. So Terraform is intelligent enough to understand, like if it is a variable.location or variable.rg1 name, it will look for this value in your variables.tf or var.tf or whatever it may be. Will look it in that folder or file. So hope you understood. Now you here see all the resource group location has been updated to. So how to create a variable file, how to create a variable, declare the variable, use the variable. Hope that is clear to you. Now we'll just move forward and we'll see the other things in variable. So now we have learned how to declare a variable and use the variable in our Terraform configuration file, and hope it is clear to you. Now, as per our Terraform coding best practices, we never hardcode any values in Terraform configuration file, and that is why we create a new file, that is var.tf or variables.tf. We have created variables.tf and we'll keep all the variables separate to a file, that is variables.tf, and in that new file we have kept all the variables. We have already seen that. So how we have kept it? We created a file as variables.tf and we have just copied all the variables and we have kept it in that. Now we have to assign the values to the variable. So here you see I have already showed you how you assign the values to the variable. Actually what we are doing right now, we are just assigning the default values. You saw when you don't assign any value while running it, while running your code, it will ask you what value you want to give. Like see here, I'm just going to comment out this. Just going to comment out this. I just commented out the default value of location. Now when you run this, or maybe I'll run the plan, it will ask you the first thing, what is the value of your variable? Which variable? Location, because I have just commented out the default value. So it will ask you for the location value. I'll give it as is 2. So it will match my current state to the desired state. So what is my current state? The same one. East US2 is my current state, right? You see, this is my current state. It will show you nothing to add, nothing to change, two changes, because it matched it and it is matching to my configuration. So basically what I wanted to tell you, how to assign, you see no changes, your infrastructure matches the configuration. I just wanted to let you know how we assign the values to this variable. So the first way of assignment is giving the default values to the variable. It means this is the default value. If you don't pass any value, these values will be picked up. But if you want to override this value, you can do it. Let's say now I want to override East US2. I don't want to create the resources in East US2. I want my resources to be created in the East US. Okay, I'll pass a value for this variable location. How you can pass it? I'll just show you. So right now you understood this concept, right? What is a default value? So whenever you create a variable, you can give a default value to that variable. If you don't pass any value, then that value will be picked up and that value will be the default value and it will be used. Now if you want to override that default value, I don't want to use that value, what you can do, you can just pass the flag as var. I mean, while running Terraform plan, you have to use this flag as var equal to your variable name and the value of that variable. So right now what we are doing here, define var means variable, and then what you have to do, you have to give your var equal to your variable name, what value you want to update. Let's say I want to update location, give that variable name, location equal to this, close the braces, hit enter. Now you see This Terraform plan will override your default value with this value. Right now, what is your default value? East US 2. It will override East US 2, East US. And now you will see it will show all the resources should be destroyed because all the resources are created in East US 2. You see 3 to add, 3 to destroy. All the East US value will be destroyed and East US value, I mean East US 2 resource group will be destroyed and East US resource group will be created. So this is how you do this at runtime. Let's say I just want to, replace my RG1 name. What you can give here, the name of that variable is RG1 name. What is the new value you want to give? Right now the value of the RG1 name is TF var RG1. I want to give demo RG1. Now if you do the plan, what it will do, it will just replace only one resource group name, which is RG1 name, with from TF var RG1 to demo RG1. It is going to destroy one resource group because the name is being changed. Which resource group? TF var RG1. And the new name of this resource group is demo RG1. If you want to apply this configuration, then you can do it. Terraform apply and hit enter. So actually it is going to destroy this resource group, that is demo RG1. Sorry, it is TF var RG1, and it is going to create a new resource group, that is demo RG1. So this is how you can assign the value of variables while runtime. Also is asking, do you really want to approve this changes? I say yes, because I have not used auto approve flag this. That is why it is asking. You can use that as well. So now how to assign the values? The first approach is use the default values, and if you want to override those default value while runtime, you can pass this flag as var, the name of the variable, the value of that variable. You can use more than one var flag here. Okay. So what was the question here? So what will happen if we don't assign the default values for the variable? You have seen we have not assigned any values. It was asking us to give the value while runtime. Now the next option, the next approach to assign the values to any variable is command line flags, which you just saw right now. How I have assigned the value for this variable, the RG1 name during apply using command line flag var variable name and the value of that variable. So this was the second approach, how you can assign the values to the variables. The third approach is from a file. So right now what we are doing, basically we are just assigning all the values from the variable default, right? But instead of giving all these defaults value here, you can assign the values of these variables from a file as well. The file name should be teraf.tfvars. You have to remember this whenever you want to assign values to any variable. Then you have to create a file called terraform.tfvars. Basically, it holds all the variable values. It will override all the default values, but the name of that file should be terraform.tfvars. You cannot give any fancy name to this. You have to remember it. Whenever you want to add values to the variable files, you have to use this file name terraform.tfvars only. You cannot give ras.tfvars, rahul.tfvars, something.tfvars. No, it will not pick up. You have to use the same name terraform.tfvars. Now you have a terraform.tfvars. Now you want to give the values to the variable. Let's say location variable. You want to give value to this location variable as east us 2. It is east us 2, right? Same value we are going to give rg1 name, rg1 name. What value you want to give to this? I will say it is a ta vars rg1 because we are creating this rg using ta var files, right? The second rg2 name. What is the name of this variable? rg2 name. I want to give value to this. I'll just take it as if vars rg2. The third variable name is rg3 name, right? Give this as if vars d. Here we have missed. So now what is happening here you must understand. So there is a connection between variable.tf and terraform.tf vars. So whenever now you call this configuration, actually what will happen, your configuration will look for the variable. Your main.tf files will look for the variables. Where is the variable? It is in the variable.tf. It will come here. We'll see, okay, variable location is here. What is the value for it? Now it will not pick up the default value because you have added a variable file. From a file you are passing the variable values. The file name should be terraform.tf vars only. Now here it will look for location. Okay, location east us to default value is there, but what is the value passed to this variable? It will go here and look for it. Okay, it is east us2 only. Okay, fine. Again it will come here rg1 name. So it will, the flow will go like this. First main.tf will be called, and here resource group rg1. So it will look for the name of the rg1. What is this? var.rg1. From here it will jump to variable. Where is var.rg1? This is variable rg1. What is the value for it? It will not look for default value at all. It will go to terraform.tf vars and it will look for rg1 name. Is there any value for it? Control F rg1. Yes, tf vars rg1. Then it will pick this name. It means all the variable default values are being overridden with this terraform.tvar values. So rather you have the default values but it will not be picked. Default value must understand this. You must understand this. Default values will only be picked if you don't give any other value outside this configuration block, outside this variable. I mean, if you don't give any value, it will be picked. If you give a value from either this one or maybe runtime, all these default values will be overwritten. Now, if you see the plan, what will happen? All these defaults value will be overridden and all these values will be picked up. So now you see it will show 3 to destroy, 3 to add. What will be the name of those resource groups now? It will no more be, sorry, I just if state, we are running it, so it is locked. So now you see demo rg1 is being replaced to tf vars rg1. From where it is picking up the value? What was the demo rg1? What was the demo rg1? I just used it that time, right? I have just given this value from the runtime flag var. But other things, tf vars rg2, tf vars rg2, this was the default value. It is being replaced with the value we have given. tf vars rg2 is being replaced with this one. So whatever values we have given, right? Here we have given tf var and now we have given tf vars. So it is being replaced. So tf var is being replaced with tf vars. It means it is picking up the values from terraform.tf vars file. Now if you do the apply, what will happen? All the three resource group will be destroyed and it will be added with the name whatever you have passed here. So now you understood what is the third approach. To assign any values to any variable, we can use a file, and the name of that file should be terraform.tfvars. Or you must say, right, why should I use this terraform.tfvars? I want to use it my name. I don't like this terraform.tfvars. Okay, you can do it. But again, there is a syntax for it. To use your name, you have to create that file with this syntax. That is your file name dot auto.tfvars. Let's say I want to create my file name. So I will create it as raj.auto.tfvars and I will keep all these values in that. Instead of creating this, I will create that. So you can create your own file name also, but that file name should be your name, your file name dot auto.tfvars. I'll show you how it works. Actually, it is destroying all the resource group and it is creating the new name. The destruction is happening. All the resource groups are being destroyed, and it will also create the new resource once it is destroyed. You see the new resource group added. One resource vars are added. Slowly it will add other also. So hope you understood what is the use of this terraform.tfvar file. So now you have a very clear, neat and clean code written here. You have a resource block here where you are referring the resource group location, resource group name with variables. Now you have a variable files here where you have mentioned your variables. You have given the default value. If someone is not passing any value, these will be picked up. If someone want to override these values, they can give it from terraform.tfvars. But now if someone want to give, override all these values with their own file, they have their own variable file. Let's say I have my own ras.tfvars. I have my own values file. tfvar mein only you can keep the variable values. So earlier we saw how we can replace any variable, default variables with var flag, right? This time what we can do, we can override all these file variables using this file. I'm not going to pick this file this time. Terraform.tfvars I'm not going to pick. I'm just going to pick this file ras.tfvars, and whatever values I have given here, it will be picked. So how to pick this file? I'll show you. First, let me change the resource group name. Actually, what will happen while runtime, you have a flag called var file. So using that var file, what you can do, actually you can pick your variable file. So this time I have a variable file as ras.tfvars. I want to pick values from this. I don't want to pick this value terraform.tfvar values. I don't want to pick. I want to create resources with my variable file. Okay, east us 2 only because we don't have any location east us 3. So how to do that? For that you have to use var file flag, and using var file var hyphen file here equal to, and the file name. What is my file name? ras.tf. You have to give it like this, your var file and your file name. So I have my file name as ras.var file. Now what it will do, actually it will look for the file name ras.tfvars and it will pick all the values from ras.tfvars rather than go this tfvar. So basically you are forcefully asking Terraform pick this variable file during the runtime. This is how you can override the terraform.tfvars, and you can ask this terraform pick your own variable files. Here now it is picking up my file and it taking all the values which is available. Other thing I just wanted to show you is like, what I said, either you have to create terraform.tf vars, or if you want to create the variable files with your name, you can create it as auto.tf vars. So the name of your file, here I'll just name this one itself ras.auto.tf vars, and I'll just delete this one because we cannot keep both, right? It will be a conflict. So now we don't have terraform.tf vars, I have ras.auto.tf vars. It is as similar as terraform tf vars. It is as similar as terraform.tf vars. So either you create terraform.tf vars or you create your file name .auto.tf vars. So instead of Raj, you can give any name, but this auto.tf var extension should be there. The suffix should be there. Okay. And if you are creating terraform.tf vars, you cannot change that. That should be terraform.tf vars only. Want to create the file with your name, you have to use this suffix auto.tf vars. The Terraform plan normally was have used this auto.tf var files and the values are different, right? It will show you the same thing which it was showing earlier. So now hope you understood the Terraform variable assignment approach. All the three approach you understood, right? How you can assign the values. I mean, how you can assign any values. Either you have one first option, the default value, you provide the default value, and whenever you don't provide any extra value, any values externally or forcefully, you don't passing any values while running it or while terraform.tf vars or auto.tf var file, it will take the default value. Other approach was command line flag. While running the variable, I mean while running the configuration, you can use command line flag and you can create that resource and replace that variable default value with this. And third was the from a file. Okay, now if you go here, the same thing is going to happen. It is going to replace the resource with the new. Give up. We'll see how it. Hope it is clear to you how we have done this here. We have a main file where we have a resource, I mean resource block as a resource group, and we have the name of the resource group for which we have used the variables. For location, we have used the variable. We have created terraform.tf vars or raj.tf vars, any one of it. And we have used this variable. I mean, first we have variable files where we have defined these variables. RG name is a variable, location is a variable, and the value of these variables we have kept it in the terraform.tf vars or ras.tf vars. So whenever you want to replace your variable values, you don't have to touch either variable file, you don't have to touch the main file, only you just update this terraform.tf vars file. So how we do it in the production, we just expose these files to the end users, the terraform.tf var files or ras.tf var files, and we'll give all the possible variable values here, and they can update those values whatever they wanted to. They can create their resources. You don't have to expose your variable file to the end user, you have to expose your method file to the end users. Only you expose terraform.tf vars. Now we'll see if this configuration is applied or not. So it will apply in a moment. So today we'll just stop here in this video, and hopefully you understood the variable in some extent. We'll have one more session. I will create one more video on this variables where I'll just talk about more advanced thing about the variables. But I think now variable is clear to you. Whenever you see any variables, you understand what is it, how to use it, and what it does actually. You understood. So thank you so much for liking my videos, subscribing to channel. If you really like these contents, I would encourage you to share it with your friends so that they can also understand this Terraform concepts. So I'm just planning to make more videos, get more videos, complete this Terraform entire series. So once this series is over, you will be able to uh, you know uh, a very good level on Terraform. So you will understand everything about Terraform. This is just the beginning. I'm just going to add more videos on Terraform, more advanced topics in upcoming days. But before that, we have to make sure our base is clear. We understand correctly what is variable, what is a provider block, what is a resource block. So hope it is clear to you. I'll stop here. Really like my video, please like my videos, subscribe to my bit more. Thank you so much.